All right, so here we go. We're going to break down the assessment that we did in our past video. If you're on YouTube, go to our channel and find the video that says at-home golf fitness assessment. If you're on our blog, you're in the right spot. Just go down to the next video or next blog post and you'll find that. If you have not done it, I highly suggest you do it. So we're going to break down each part of it, give you exercises that are going to help you. And I suggest doing that over this off season, and it's going to help you play your best next year. All right, so here we go. In our effort at Hansen Fitness for Golf to help you play your best from wherever you are in the world, we want to give you an off-season program that you can do right now that's going to help you play your best. Your body is your number one piece of equipment, and I guarantee if you get that in shape or get it moving a little bit better, it's going to do wonders for your golf game. So if you have not done our assessment that we filmed on our last video, if you're watching this on YouTube, go to our page and find that video that says at-home golf fitness assessment. And if you're on our blog, you're in the right spot. Just look at our other blog posts and you'll find that it's called the at-home golf fitness assessment. Do it and then come back and we're going to break down the first segment of that assessment. All right, so the first assessment to see if you can separate your upper and lower body by moving your lower body, keeping your upper body separate. So we wanted to see if you can do this. If you're one that goes like this, we're going to give you 2 mobility exercises that are going to help you get some mobility in your hips, because if you're still doing this, it's a good chance that you have some mobility issues. If you can't move it at all and you're going like this, we're going to give you stability exercises that are going to strengthen this area to help you get more stable and allow you to make that move. All right, so for the first part, we're going to work on mobility of the hips, and what we're talking about is what's called internal hip rotation. So it's a tough one to stretch, and this is one of the best that I found with my clients is just sit down on the ground with your feet about a little wider than shoulder width apart, and you're going to drop your knee trying to keep your butt cheek on the floor. You're going to drop your knee in and go down as far as you can go. You should feel a good stretch on the inside of your thigh. If you feel it up here, it's because that's where the tightness is and that's the problem. But you're going to, as you get more flexible on both sides, you'll start to feel it where you're supposed to on the inner thigh there. So you're going to go back, you're going to hold it for about 3 seconds and then rotate back for about 3 seconds, and do this about 15 to 20 times on each side. And we'll call this a dynamic stretch. So you're stretching through movement and you're stretching what's called the internal hip rotation that's limiting you from making a good turn on your backswing, on your right leg, and then on your downswing on your follow through on your left leg if you're a right-handed golfer. So drop it in, and that's going to help you from swaying and sliding in your swing. Okay, so the second mobility stretch for your hips and that internal rotation, we're going to stretch the hip flexor, because on 99.9% of people your hip flexors are tight because we sit a lot more than we ever used to. So what you're going to do is get down on one knee. You can use a pillow or a pad for that knee. You're going to get tall. You're going to try and squeeze. If your right knee's down, you're going to squeeze your right butt cheek and push forward. So it's going to look like this. So you're going to push forward. You're going to feel a big stretch in the front of that leg there. If you feel it in your lower back, try not to lean back this way. You should be able to sit forward, engage the glute, which is going to turn your hips up, so your belt buckle is going to go up towards your chin, and you're going to squeeze that glute. And now from here, you're going to get a big stretch. I want you to take your foot in the back and then take it out this way as far as you can go. So you're going to go out this way. If you feel pain in your knee, you want to stop. But if you're going to push again, you're going to feel a little bit more to the outside, and that's going to help with that internal hip rotation. So you want to, once you get it out here, you're going to hold it for about 10 to 15 seconds and then relax, and then do it again for 3 times, and then you're going to switch sides and do it on the other side. With these stretches, if they feel good, you can do them as much as you want, but I recommend doing them at least 3 sets of 3 reps. Okay, so in that lower body rotation test, we had you turn trying to keep your upper body stable. So if you were one that was trying to turn but your upper body was moving, it could be your hips were too tight and that was just happening, or it could be you couldn't stabilize. So we want to strengthen the core area that would help stabilize your upper body while your lower body's turning. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the lower body out of it by getting on your knees. You're going to take a band or a cable of any type. You could play with the resistance. So if on a band, the further away you move from the anchor, the harder it's going to be. Obviously on a cable, the more weight you put on, the heavier it's going to be. So what you're going to do is get on your knees, get into a golf posture, maybe like a mid-iron or a little bit a longer club, and you're going to put the band or cable right into your chest, and you're going to push it straight out, and then you're going to hold that. So what you're going to feel is the band's going to want to try and pull you over this way. You're going to feel a lot of resistance in your hip and in your core area. You should. If you feel this in the arms, keep doing it. You'll start to feel it where you're supposed to. So you're going to hold it straight out for 5 seconds, and then pull it back in. And then push it straight out for 5 seconds and pull it back in. This is going to definitely help strengthen that area that's not allowing you to keep your upper body stable while your lower body moves. And you want to do this on both sides. Sometimes when we do an assessment, we try and have you do something. There's a lot of times that you can get better at it by doing that exercise, maybe with that added stability or a little bit more forced range of motion. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a club, and you're going to hold on to, I suggest a driver, but if you have a flimsier shaft, you might want to be careful on the shaft movement. So what you're going to do is you're going to hold on to the driver and then try and do that lower body movement. So what's happening is your upper body is being stabilized by the driver, but it's not a fixed object. So if you really have a hard time with this, you might want to hold on to a more stable, a fixed object, but it's really good just to use your driver and try and move that lower body while your upper body is trying to stay still. And I really recommend that you kind of feel what you're working. So you're going to feel it in the oblique area on the outside here, and a little bit in you might feel it in your lower back. That's okay, because you're engaging those muscles to try and hold that upper body stable. So that's the second stability exercise for that assessment. Okay, so second assessment, I said keep your lower body stable while your upper body turn. I really don't care how far your shoulders turn. I see a lot of people go, "Ugh," but you don't have to turn your shoulders very far. All I care about is if your lower body moves. And what I look at in my clients is if they have a belt on, I look at their belt buckle. If they don't, have the strings in their shorts. So we want to make sure that those aren't moving while this is. So we're going to tackle the 2 reasons why that would move when you're trying to turn your shoulders, and that's mobility in your upper body and stability in your lower body. So the first thing we want to address is glute stability. And the glute is the biggest stabilizer in the lower body, but most people don't know how to use it. So we're going to go back to basics 101 just to try and get you to fire your glute muscles. So you're going to lay on your back with your arms across your chest, and you're going to try and squeeze your butt cheeks. So you want to think about, I always use with my clients, that you're in an elevator, just you and one other person, you have really bad gas. So you want to squeeze your glutes together and don't let the gas out. So squeeze your glutes. So you notice when I squeeze, my pelvis is coming up towards my chin and my glutes are squeezing, and you're just going to hold it. So you're going to hold it for about 45 seconds. If you can hold it for 45 seconds, hold it hard, and your hamstring, the back of your leg, or your lower back don't hurt, you're in good shape. If you do feel something in your lower back or something in your hamstring, make sure that you're pushing through your heels so you can even pull your toes off the floor just a little bit and try and squeeze. It's okay if you do feel it there, just keep trying it, squeezing, and eventually you will feel it in your glutes. If you're one that you feel it in your glutes and you're pretty good, then we can add some more difficulty to the exercise by raising one leg in the air. So you want to try and keep we're going to just do the assessment, so you're going to keep your hips level and you're going to try and raise one leg in the air. If this is difficult and you start to feel a cramp, then that's okay. So we'll go back to the glute squeeze. But squeezing the glutes and learning how to use them is really important for everyday life, but also for your golf swing. Now that you got your glutes working, now we're going to try and get the core working. So from this position, you're just going to raise your legs up to 90 degrees. You're going to pull your belly button into your spine. or pull it into the floor. You're going to take your hands like this, and you're going to just do a crunch up and hold. So you're pulling your belly button in, you're keeping your legs at 90 degrees, and your back is flat, and your arms are up, and you're holding. If you're shaking, that's really good, because now you're noticing that, man, I don't have control over my core, but now I'm starting to use it a little bit. So you should feel that all the way around your midsection. You want to hold this for about 30 seconds, and we'll do 2 to 3 sets of 30 seconds. If you feel like this is pretty easy, you can always put your legs out, but you've got to make sure that your back stays flat. If your back tries to arch, then your core is not strong enough to support that, so you want to make sure that you keep your back flat and then your knees at 90 degrees and hold. So continuing down here on the floor, you don't have to get up for all these exercises. You're going to lay what's called the hook line position. So you're going to lay on your side with your knees bent up. This is going to, the farther up you bring your knees, it's going to lock in your lumbar spine, so that's not moving. So what we want to do is work on some mobility that's going to help you keep your lower body stable so your shoulders can turn. So what a lot of times happens is the muscles that come along the side get tight, and the thoracic spine, which is where you get your mobility, gets tight. So we want to, this is a great exercise that everybody can do to help kind of loosen that up. So we're going to start with the knees stacked. You're going to put your arms out like this, and then you're going to lay back as far as you can go, keeping your knees together. If you feel like your knees want to come up, you can always take this hand and just hold them down. And then you're going to take this arm up. A lot of people want to come down here, but we're going to get some mobility stuff in the armpit, chest area as well. And that's going to give you, you should feel it all the way from your hip, all the way up to your hand, basically. And you're going to hold that for about 30 seconds. If you find that this is pretty easy, you can kick your bottom leg out, so your top leg's going to go down. Now you're shutting the hips down a little bit more, and then same motion, you're going to hold that leg down with the opposite hand and go back as far as you can go, and you're really going to feel a good stretch on that one. About 30 seconds, 3 to 5 times on both sides. That's going to give you some more shoulder turn and allow you to keep your lower body stable while your upper body moves. So we want to make sure we get the main muscle that's connecting the upper and lower body, or causing you to not be able to keep that lower body stable, and that's more the lat muscle that runs all the way down. So you're gonna get on your hands and knees, you're gonna put your butt down on your heels, and then you're gonna put your arms out as far as you can with your head in between your arms. You're gonna feel a big stretch right here in the lat muscle. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take your arm across your other hand and feel that stretch. You're gonna hold this for about 15 to 30 seconds and then switch sides. And you can do that a couple times, but that's really gonna give you more lat mobility and stretch that area that's causing that upper body to not be able to move as much and keep the lower body from turning. Okay, so if you had trouble keeping your upper body stable while your lower body was moving, or keeping your lower body stable while your upper body was moving, try those 8 exercises and they're definitely going to help you. So if you have not seen our at-home golf fitness assessment video, I suggest you go to our blog or check out our YouTube page and try it out. And if you're like some of my online clients and say, Mike, I don't want to wait that long while you go over exercises for the next 2 months, go to our website at hansenfitnessforgolf.com and /online training programs, and check those out and see which one you want to do, because we can do a live Skype assessment with you right in the comfort of your own home and tell you exactly which exercises to do for the limitations that you have. You're going to make your next golf season the best it's ever been.